everyone, and welcome to our video on parts of a circuit. In this video, we're going to learn about all of the parts that make circuits work. All right, so to start us off, a circuit is going to be defined as a path or line in which our electric current is going to travel through. And so we have open and closed circuits, and they're just like they sound like. And so our closed circuits are going to be joined together in a loop, meaning electrical current can flow. And our open circuits are going to be considered broken because they're open, meaning they're not closed together in a loop. And because it's not closed together, no electric current can flow. So there are four basic components of circuits: an energy source, a conductor, a load, and a controller. And we're going to talk about each one specifically throughout the video. So our energy source are things like batteries. And so our energy source is going to convert energy. So in the example of a battery, it'll convert chemical energy into electrical energy. And so because the energy source exists, it's going to provide energy for our electrical circuit. And then we have conductors. So we've talked a little bit about insulators and conductors. And so a conductor is just a material that allows electrical current to flow easily. And so most metals are going to be great conductors. And so this is part of the reason why we make pots out of metal, because again, it allows for heat to move pretty easily. Same thing here. Most of our wires are made of things like copper. And again, because copper is a conductor, it allows electricity to move very easily, and we can harness it for our circuits. And so the reason why we need the conductor or the wires is because the wires are going to connect our circuit together. Remember, it has to be closed to fully work. All right, next we have the load. And so a load is just defined as a device that's going to use electrical energy to operate. And so for class, our load that we'll mostly be using are light bulbs. However, things like computers and radios are also examples of loads because they're going to use electrical energy to be able to operate. And so our conductor, which we just talked about previously, is going to connect our energy source. So wires would connect to the battery, and then we'd have more wires that's going to connect to our load, like our light bulb, and then we'll close it off together. Next, we have the controller, which is also sometimes referred to as a switch. And you don't really need the switch. However, for the purposes of class, let's just say that switches are required. And so all the controller or the switch is going to do is it's going to provide control of the circuit. So again, when you flip on a switch or you flip off a switch, it's allowing you to basically control the circuit. And so again, you can either continue the circuit, which means you're closing the switch, or you can break the circuit, which means that you're opening the switch or you're turning it on versus off. And again, the controller is just giving you some control over when the electrical current is flowing. So eventually you're going to be building circuits as well as drawing circuits. And it's really important that you understand the symbols that exist for the parts of a circuit. So first you have a wire, which I've already drawn for you here. A wire is just referred to as a straight line. And so if you look here on the left, you'll see that they have two wires. They have wire one here, wire here too. They drew them and showed that they're connected together. It's two wires. Next, you're going to have your energy source, and it'll be written like what's drawn here or what you see here. And sometimes you won't actually see the positive and the negative, but for the purposes of class, we want to make sure that we are identifying which side's positive, which side's negative. It's important for helping us make sure we understand where our battery is. Next, you have your load. And so you will see load written like what's here, but you'll also see load sometimes written as a circle with an X. And this just is identifying that this is a load that's a light bulb. You will see it written both ways though, so make sure that you understand that loads can be written as either way. And then lastly, you have your switch, which are written here. And so an open switch is just going to have the switch open, and I just drew it here. It's also written there for you. And a closed switch, again, is going to be closed. And again, the reason why these dots here are important is so that you know that this is actually a switch, even though it's closed. Otherwise, you could just draw the wire, but that wouldn't mean that there's a switch. So make sure you have these two little dots here to identify that it's a closed switch. And when you're doing it open, you'll draw it like that. And so that's it for this video. Please take some time to practice drawing our circuit symbols so that as you begin to get into drawing and identifying parts of a circuit, you feel comfortable being able to draw them and identify them and know what they are.